Hey. I got carded at this piece of shit.
You have to be old enough just to understand the mature themes of Underworld: Blood Wars.
At first I was wondering, like, do they think I'm too old to be sitting through this? But then I was remembered, like, oh, it's probably my hat.
Oh, your Bugs Bunny hat.
Yeah, like, alright, Sonny. You two, you need to see some ID, sir. I literally went, what? Okay, thank you.
So this movie was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I was fairly excited for it because I like the sort of, like, 90s supernatural shoot 'em up type movie where it's just people like trying to shoot each other in the face from 10 paces away. And they did that. Like, I got that in maybe like the last 20 minutes of the movie. But before that, it was just people screaming exposition at each other.
That's what.
And wandering through shadowy hallways.
Normally, I like the kind of movie you just mentioned. But I've never liked these movies, so I wasn't looking forward to this, because all of these movies are the same as this one. Like, leaving this movie, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be going into it. In 2 hours, I'm going to forget every goddamn thing that happened in this fucking thing, because it's the same way with, I can't believe there's 5 of these things, but it's the same way as all of them. It's bad for the same reasons.
Because I think that the problem is that when I leave this movie and then 2 hours, the only thing I'm going to remember is that 20 minutes of awesomeness. Oh. Because that's kind of what happened, because I've been rewatching the videos from the past year to prepare my worst of list, and past Sarah was super geared up about this movie. Like, she's like, yeah, Underworld, pew pew, I'm a vampire. And so then I rewatched the first one because it's on Netflix in anticipation of this movie, and it's like, wow, this is really pretty boring and political. And then the last 20 minutes, it's her, like, sword fighting through the sewers with Bill Nighy. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty sweet. And so I feel like what'll happen is that in a couple years, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I love the Underworld series. I watched Blood Wars last, and it was all like a Gatling gun with the light bullets in it, and just 2 guys with the machine guns just pelting each other in the face with bullets, because that's the only memorable thing about this movie. So I end up hoisted on my own petard.
Yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell you were going to like this. If it was going to be anything like the other movies.
Break it to me gently.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was like, maybe it could be a surprise. Because honestly, I sort of remember the third one being way more entertaining than the other ones. The third one was the prequel movie with Rona Mitra, who I thought was a better character than Kate Beckinsale's, and it had a lot more Michael Sheen in it that I remember. It could have been I was maybe a little more drunk when I was watching that one, but I kind of remembered enjoying Rise of the Lycans slightly more than I have, God, any of these other movies.
Maybe this movie would benefit from being fairly drunk. And it definitely would benefit from a different main character.
These movies are...
Kate Beckinsale, sorry. She's very pretty, but that's... Like, she seemed so done. She seemed like Jamie Lee Curtis in the Halloween movie where they killed off her character in the first 5 minutes done. Kate Beckinsale's character, like, dies off maybe 2/3 of the way through this movie, and I'm like, so it's come to this.
No one seems like they give a shit about anything in this film at all. This movie is like watching a sad S&M club reenacting their favorite episode of Passions. Like,
see, I'd probably enjoy
that sounds slightly more enjoyable, but if their heart really isn't into it, like, really, like this, if you want to make something decent out of what we just saw, shorten it to about an hour and maybe put some soap opera piano music behind it. Maybe that'll be funny for like 15 minutes. If you start using the soundtrack and dialogue from an old episode of Dark Shadows. I don't know. Before this movie even started, I was sitting there like, I feel like I'm going into this blind, even though I've seen the other movies. but I don't fucking remember them because they are that forgettable. So I'm like, it doesn't, I said at the beginning, before this movie, I was like, it doesn't matter. You know there's going to be this narration at the beginning of it, where it's like, I am a death dealer since the War of the Lycans, la la la. And that's, lo and behold.
That's exactly what they did. Like, I fought an elder, and then I met a man named Michael, and he turned into a vampire-Lycan hybrid, and then I had a daughter, but then I had to leave her, and then Michael died, and then I was super sad, and here we all are.
It was, I mean, beneficial, honestly, because it did remind me what happened in the fourth one. I was like, oh, okay, because really the only thing I remember about the fourth one is that they had to use this really obvious Scott Speedman body double because he didn't come back for it. And so he's killed in, like, night vision or some bullshit. Like, that was all I remember. I'm like, oh, right, they had a daughter. That happened, and then, man, 5 minutes into this movie, I was checked out so hard. Like, I'm just... Exactly, right?
I was definitely, like, there was a moment where I was sitting there, I had my coat pulled up like a little blanket, and I had my snacks sitting in the hood, and I was kind of like munching on my Crunch and Munchins, and I thought to myself, I could probably like take a little snooze and sleep through about 20 minutes of this, and then wake up and still be able to follow the plot, and maybe I'd still be able to fake my way through the review.
I don't know if there's really that much plot here, because I was kind of going in, and I never fell asleep, but I was like thinking about other things throughout this movie. The dialogue in this movie is all...
It's all just people having revelations in monotone at each other.
No, here's what it is. It's basically people reading aloud the Twitter accounts of those... You ever been to American Eagle at the mall?
Yeah, I walked past them.
Oh, you should, because all of their models on their picture have their Twitter accounts next to their picture, and it's amazing.
So you, like, look them up?
Oh, yes, because it's all, like, fucking... Zoolander. Like, that's what it is. Like, I had the worst Orange Julius today. # worst ever. And, like, it's like deep thoughts by Jack Handy on some of them. It's like this, when Celine is saying shit like, I've lived for 1,000 days. I may live for 1,000 more. Or die tomorrow. Like, deep, man. Like, I may live or die. Who knows?
It's not about living or dying. It's about becoming.
Yeah. I don't know how many more moons I have left in me. It's shit like that, and it was reminding me of that. And it's what was really funny too, and this was something we noticed. This is a quick little tangent, and I highly recommend you do this, by the way, because we were looking at all of the male model Twitter accounts, and they seriously all read like fucking Hansel or Derek Zoolander. Like, not even like ironically, like it was as wow, that's just them. But then we got to, like, the female models that they had on there, and I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen here. We're going to look them up, and they're going to be perfectly normal. And they were. They're talking about, like, promoting gay rights and things like that, and all these, like, serious issues. Meanwhile, dude's talking like, oh, man, I'm totes stuck in line to get this new, like, orange cream pop. That's what a lot of this dialogue was reminding me of. If you took a sentence and switch some words around, switch the word day around with new moon, that's this. And that made me chuckle for 5 minutes, and then I drifted off again. And then when I came back into it, they were with a cult of Daenerys Targaryens.
Yeah, they wandered into the albino vampire camp. But the basic plot of this movie is that 4 from the Divergent series, who I guess must have been in the 4th one?
I don't remember him from the 4th one. If he was in it, I don't
Charles
remember.
Dance's son, and Kate Beckinsale brought him back to life with her blood, and now they're a team. They're not, like, banging or anything, they're just, like, friends. And so, they get called back to the Coven because she's getting tricked by the dominatrix from Sherlock. who I thought had no idea what sort of movie she was in.
Her outfits didn't know what kind of movie she was in.
Her outfits meant that she had no nudity clause. It's basically, let's make her be as naked as possible, which is kind of what she was in Sherlock as well.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, like, she's trying to pull a quick one, but it's all kind of ancillary and dumb. And then 4 finds out that his mom isn't some random mom, but like Amelia from the first one.
Yeah.
Like one of the 3 elders that got killed. And so he's got to kind of like go back and regain the throne. The werewolves are trying to do a thing. And it turns out the lead werewolf, Marius, which I only remember because it's the name of the main dude character from Les Mis. Like ate Michael, it turns out. The whole movie is just like, oh, it turns out this happened, and oh, it turns out this happened, and oh, it turns out this is the case. But it's all so boring that it's like, I don't care. I don't care. That's
what every single one of these movies is. There is nothing in the way of any kind of character. It is just really cynical-ass filmmakers who don't give a shit about what they're filming. All they're feeling is like, we could get 5 movies out of an audience coming to this because they want to see Kate Beckinsale in leather. And that's it. They don't do anything beyond that. The characters only exist for exposition. The action is bullshit.
Except for the one scene.
There was a couple of chuckles there towards the end, and that's when I was like, if the whole movie was kind of like this, there would at least be something.
Right?
Because to compare this to the Resident Evil movies, at least in the Resident Evil movies, everyone, including the filmmakers, looks like they're having fun. That's not the case with these movies. These movies are brooding, they're dull, they're monotone, there's no single memorable character among any of them. Not even from people like Charles Dance, who you'd think, at the least maybe Charles Dance will be fun. But no, he's just, again, there to provide exposition like every single one of these movies is. And the only laughs to get out of it are towards the end when the guy says fuck in slow motion, and when he and the villain are kind of just shooting each other as they're walking up to each other.
Like there's just bullets just lodging in their faces, like they're having a paintball fight, and and they do the thing that I always remember fondly about these movies where they're just like, and the other one's like, and it's supposed to be scary, but it's really just adorable. And then also there's like they roll out the big guns. Because they've basically, I'm trying. It's not a Gatling gun, but what's it called when it's like a gun that's on the floor on sticks?
Kind of that,
but
feed not
stuff into it.
Yeah.
And you feel like maybe they'd be using it to like explode out sunlight and take out all the vampires, but all they're doing is just blowing holes in the window.
They saw from dusk till dawn that day.
It's a little anticlimactic. But there's also a part where she's doing like a sword fighting thing, and she cuts a werewolf in twain, and it kind of harkens back to Bill Nighy's head getting cut in half.
They remind us of that at the beginning. The special effects are just as good in this as they were in the first movie.
I feel like there are 2 groups of people that actually had fun making this movie, and that was the special effects artists, because when they split the werewolf in half, the 2 halves just kind of like flop to the ground like saggy sides of Canadian bacon. And then the costuming department, because I do feel like the albino, the Daenerys Targaryen vampires, had really cool outfits and definitely were set apart and kind of like Nordic and cool looking. And then
they were also on a set that looked like they were guarding, that Daenerys is guarding on the wall for some reason.
Yeah, so like, these vampires. Okay, there's this horde of vampires. They're living basically in the north, and the thing they do for fun is just like sit in pools of water and pour water over each other.
That's what they do.
That's it. Like what they'll do is. She explained it all like it was this deep spiritual experience where like you use it to go to the other world and you poison yourself. But basically it's just like laying in a pool and the other person like kind of wraps you up in gauze like you've gotten taken by Aragog and like tacks you up to the ceiling, just like hanging there, and you just kind of hang there for a little while, and that's what they do for fun.
Like they're the cotton candy from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
Huh.
But yeah, I thought the costumes were really cool. The Daenerys Targaryen people, and then also what's her face from Sherlock. Yeah, they were exploitative, but they were cool looking and exploitative. Like she had that one robe that was just like different straps attached to different straps, but the whole thing kind of formed this like semblance of a bathrobe that trailed out behind her.
Yeah, I mean, these movies are exploitation flicks. They're just not very good ones. And I wish this had been made like 10, 15 years ago, because the villain, I mean, he even looks like him too, would have been Michael Wincott, the bad guy from The Crow.
Right.
And Gaia Gisman from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I'm like, man, I would have loved it if he was in this fucking movie. There at least would have been that, even if he would have been sleepwalking through it.
I would have loved it if Michael Sheen was in this movie.
Yeah.
I said Charlie Sheen. I would not have liked it if Charlie Sheen was in this movie.
They do. There are parts where it's obvious that they are using like actors in werewolf costumes, like rubber costumes. The problem with that is that it doesn't fucking matter, because they mask it with such god-awful 90s CGI between the stupid-ass CGI blood that's popping out of them and these special effects that are the worst I've seen since Gods of Egypt, but Gods of Egypt was a more fun movie than this. They're on par with bullshit from the 90s, like American Werewolf in Paris. They might be using the same fucking werewolf effects.
Which, if this movie had been having more fun with itself, I would have liked that, because it would have added to the unabashed 90ness of what I was expecting. Like, do you remember I, Frankenstein?
That was you and Dave.
Oh, okay. Well, I was expecting I, Frankenstein, because I liked I, Frankenstein. It was dumb, and it was 90s, and it was very, very poorly made, but the plot kind of dragged itself by its bootstraps, and it was held together by a sort of, like, earnest, what if he was a Frankenstein, you guys? If he was a Frankenstein moving through time, and he was doing battle with angels.
Since you were really looking forward to this one, I assumed you were just fans of the other movies.
I was fans of the portions of the other movies I remembered, which apparently wasn't very much of the other movies.
No. I mean, to which I would think, like, I guess if you are if someone out there is a fan of these movies, that you'll like this. It's the same goddamn movie as the other ones. I mean, this movie is like if you took something like a Twilight and just stripped away all of the unintentional humor to it. That really is this. And there was kind of a crowd in there.
Oh, the guys behind us were digging it.
Yeah, so there was a crowd of people who were like, you know what we should do tonight? Underworld, Blood Wars.
Maybe they were drunk. Maybe that was our mistake. We should have been drunk.
Yeah, we should have been drinking through this movie.
If we brought in our own containers, we could have just filled them with vodka.
Is this going to be one where, come like a year from now, you'll have to like watch the review to be like, what exactly did I think of that fucking movie?
December Sarah. Hi, it's me again, January Sarah. This movie doesn't belong on the bottom 10, but that's just because there's really nothing to say about it.
It's early. It's definitely early. Welcome to fucking January. It's Underworld Blood Wars. So like, I imagine I will see 10 more movies that I would put on a worse list before this.
Yeah.
But that's because we see about 50 movies that are contenders for a 10 worst list. This is awful. The movie's awful. It's boring to sit through. It's a long 90 minutes. There's no good characters. There's nothing interesting about it. And anything that would be unintentionally amusing about it, you can see tenfold in something that's way more entertaining than this movie. It's...
Doing the bottom 10, the difficult part is never ranking the terrible movies. It's ranking the mediocre movies against each other. Like, what was worse? This unintentionally hilarious bad CGI thriller, or this unintentionally not hilarious mid-February comedy that we saw that I barely remember? And I feel like this is going to be one of those movies where I've got 8 of my slots filled, and then 5 movies that I have no idea that I even watched them.
Like when you had to look up what the choice was.
Yeah. And I was like, Brad, you forgot Fifth Wave. And he's like, fuck, I did forget Fifth Wave.
I did forget that. I did. God damn it. Skimmed right past that. I think we as a nation forgot the Fifth Wave.
Fifth Wave! Should we do previews?
Yeah, absolutely. As for this, I don't even recommend this as a Netflix watch or anything.
Don't bother.
There's no reason for this movie to exist, and there's no reason for you to watch it.
If you want something like on in the background while you're cleaning, maybe.
Just put on Resident Evil if that's the case.
The Bye Bye Man.
Oh, fuck.
Again, I really don't have to care about, because that's a horror movie, so that'll be you and Brian.
That'll be me and Brian.
That name is just not getting any less hilarious.
Well, it's turning into a really funny Tumblr meme where people are taking the poster and putting shit like the ICUP man and shit like like the Oops-a-Daisy man, because the tagline's like, you won't laugh at his name until when he sees you.
See you later, alligator man.
Really scared of you, PG-13 horror killer.
Don't say it, don't think it. Rings, which, okay, this preview made me gag. Because it's like, it must be like an origin story of Sadako, or whatever her name is in the American version. But it's like, there's this lady, and she's like getting haunted by the ring girl. And she's sitting there, and she's got a peculiar look on her face, and then she reaches in her throat, and I'm gonna start gagging just talking about it, and pulls like this long strip of hair out of her throat, and I'm like, nope!
That'll be a me and Brian movie. Yeah. I don't give a shit about that movie.
You guys can barf. That's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry.
I guess Shut In was the better choice for Naomi Watts other than Rings, which means Rings is gonna be terrible.
Like, how many rings do you suppose are in this movie?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the one ring, right? It's called Ring because there's like the circle in the video. And then it's the well, and the little girl pops out, and she's like, you've got 7 days.
I'll stick with the original version, Ringoos.
Ringu. Kong.
I'm so excited for that.
Hey, you guys, I'm Dancing Ray.
You shouldn't have come here, man.
I come Skullwise.
I am so excited for fucking Nam Kong. Vietnam King Kong. Holy shit, I'm so looking forward to that movie.
It looks pretty amazing.
Yeah. I really can't wait to see that. That looks like a blast.
I genuinely love John C. Like, even if it's a terrible thing, I'd still love the John C. Reilly-ness of him. Because he's always so himself in everything that he's in.
There are also really terrifying shots in that trailer. Like when the helicopter's in front of him and he just looks like a nuclear mushroom cloud right in front of him, like blurry off in the distance. There's some really beautiful shots in that trailer. So I'm genuinely really excited for that.
It's a good monkey.
Yeah.
It's a good looking monkey. Life.
Oh,
it's a space thing, Ryan Reynolds and...
Yeah, it looks like that'd be funny if they released that the same day as Alien Covenant.
I haven't seen the preview for Alien Covenant.
It looks like an Alien movie.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
This kind of looks like John Carpenter's The Thing in space. Which feels like something I may have said before, but it's like they got like a thing in a petri dish, and then it's evil.
Yeah, given its cast, I think we talked about this one, or I did with somebody else, where... Actually, it had to have been you, because I think we're the only ones who talk about trailers. But like, where I'm guessing I could be wrong. I'm guessing there's more to this movie than something gets on a ship and is killing all of them, given it's got a really good gas to it. So I would think there's maybe something more to it than that. But you know what? Who knows? Even if it is that, it could turn out to be scary.
Yeah, well, it felt like there's like people of all nations getting together on a space station to kind of cultivate life that they found in outer space, and so I think it's probably going to be just to some degree preying on each other's xenophobia. Be like, I claim this in the name of Russia. No, you don't either. I claim the name of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
The name of Canada.
Yes.
Yes.
I always forget that he's Canadian. So, Resident Evil Final Chapter.
It looks more fun than the movie we just fucking sat through. Like,
I guess that they're gonna eradicate the the virus in this one?
I don't know. I love that it's called Final Chapter, as if this has been a really complex story.
I watched the first one of the Resident Evil movies, and I didn't much care for it, so I didn't really watch any of the other ones.
Then you probably won't like the other ones.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they got some charm to it in that, like. You know what? The world just needs some bullshit sometimes. Sometimes you just need to sit there and watch Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez kill a bunch of zombies.
Huge proponent of bullshit. It's just the first one was just kind of, it was, as I recall, it was kind of meandering, and maybe I just didn't have the attention span of the patience for it in that moment. But it was just them running back and forth across a mansion, and I was just like, I could do without it. Sometimes I just will have fun at something like that. Like, those are usually movies me and Brian end up at. And, it's sort of like... If people wonder why me and Brian were so lenient on Assassin's Creed, it's because of bullshit like Underworld Blood Wars. I don't like, if I'm in a good mood that day, I'll probably have fun at Resident Evil Final Chapter. If I'm in a shitty mood, maybe not. We had like an opening thing where it was like, "Hi, I'm Mila Jovovich.
Oh,
I'm so happy to have been in the Resident Evil movies. Thank you for still coming to them." For the trailer.
After the fourth kind, I'm instantly worried of everything that starts out with "Hello, my name is Mila Jovovich."
I forgot about the fourth kind.
That was a piece of hardcore shit.
Oh, that was on the split screen, right?
Yes, where it was like
half reenactment, half like the actual story.
It's still one of the worst gimmicks I've ever seen in a movie, and go figure, I've only seen it once.
I put the fourth kind of my worst of 2016, even though we didn't
even though that was like 5 years ago.
Yep,
yeah,
still the worst.
I would understand if you did that. It's a terrible fucking movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I'm sold.
I know that'll be the Comic Boys, but I might just invite myself along on that one.
Yeah, usually, I mean, you were in the review for the first one.
Was it?
That was one where it was like 4 of us reviewing it, and I think we talked about the movie for like 5 minutes.
It's hard with the good ones, because it's like, we don't want to ruin it for you guys. I don't mind ruining fucking Underworld. The Great Wall. Which is about how Matt Damon built the Great Wall of China to keep dragons out.
Oh, that's the historical film we need that tells you why the Great Wall was built to keep the fire-breathing dragons out.
Look,
this makes sense to me.
Fire-breathing dragons. It's because the Great Wall's keeping them out.
They're still trapped behind the wall.
Yes.
This movie makes sense to me. That movie looks pretty.
I disagree. But
you don't think it does?
It's like 25% wall, 10% Matt Damon,
but then it has
65% fog.
But then it has shots in that trailer that look like House of Flying Daggers and things like that. Like there'll be like some grayness and fog with the wall, but then some like really sweeping POV shots of jumping into the dragons, and then suddenly like kabuki theater breaks out. Like this movie might be amazing.
I can never tell the quality of a movie from a trailer
anymore.
Never ever.
Who fucking knows?
There's a button in this car that's called Cat Folder, and I've been spending the entire review trying to figure out what it actually does.
That's like those old laptops that had one of the buttons, the icon was a faucet. Like, what?
It's for turning the water out.
It drains your battery. You don't want to push that button.
And we got Cure for Wellness, which...
That looks great.
Okay, that looks terrifying. Like, I know that you watch American Horror Story.
The first few seasons.
I tried watching it, the season where they're in like a mental institution, and I had to turn it off because it got kind of too terrifying. Like
that's the best season.
Right around the Chloe Sevigny gets kidnapped by the guy part. I don't want to ruin it for you guys if you haven't seen that season of American Horror Story. Spoiler alert: Chloe Sevigny gets kidnapped by like a mad scientist, and he saws her legs off.
If you're gonna watch any season,
gives her like mega syphilis, and I was like, "That's it. I'm done with that show."
You should watch Coven, because just to see how much it fucking falls apart. It starts out pretty good, but then the fucking season has an aneurysm.
Well, the witch season is where True Blood lost me, so it stands to reason that'd be where American Horror Story loses me as well. But this is a similar kind of like not jump scare, but just like genuine pit of your stomach horrifyingness.
Yeah.
Because like this guy goes to almost like a Kellogg style wellness retreat, but it turns out that it's more of like a kidnappy torture wellness retreat.
It looks weird, man. Like, I like Dane DeHaan a lot, who's the lead. And it'll be interesting to see Gore Verbinski just going batshit insane. Like,
I'm wondering if it's going to have like a Shutter Island style twist, because it definitely seemed like it was going off the rails towards the end of the preview, but the fact it's just going off the rails towards the end of the preview means I have absolutely no idea what the plot's going to be.
Yeah, I'm very curious about it. It looks at least it looks like total eye candy. I'll give it that. I like a good weird movie like that. One of my favorite movies of 2016 was Neon Demon. That was a weird fucking flick. And gorgeous. Didn't make much sense, but goddamn, I love the goddamn movie. It's going in my top 10, and maybe like Cure for Wellness will be like that for me this year. If you haven't seen Neon Demon, you'd really like that.
Alright, I'll check it out.
Was that all?
That's it.
Okay, well, Underworld Blood Wars was a piece of shit.
Yeah, final thought, chew up its own ass with its own mythology.
Yeah, fuck this movie, man. If you like the other four, I don't see why this would be the one that turns you off of it, but like, fuck it. Fuck this movie.
If you like the other four, tweet me and tell me why. Because I could have sworn I loved these movies, but I do not think I love these movies.
Next week, I think, is the Bye Bye Man and like Monster Trucks.
Because fucking Monster Trucks is finally coming out.
Yes, it is.
You've been waiting so long.
January is my guilty pleasure. Like, I just gotta know how bad these movies are. Say it.